This is awesome. Doing Formula One up here on the big screen. I feel like an ant standing beside a boot. Today, we're focusing on Spa. Formula One travels to the Belgian Grand Prix, where these F1 drivers super excited to tackle this famous racetrack. And we're going to show you two particular spots on this track that I find very interesting. I think will make a difference in the driving. Eau Rouge, Pouhon, we'll start there. This is a legendary turn in all of motorsports, really. It combines a number of different aspects: physicality, speed, belief in the car. For F1 cars now, they have a lot more downforce, so they're able to tackle this turn a little easier than they would have in the past. But for comparison, equivalent to a 12-story building, and the sheer scope of it when you're heading up, just the amount of G-forces that are being pressed on your body, 4.4 Gs. If you compare that to what an astronaut has to go through on takeoff, 90 minutes of that these drivers will have to go through when tackling Eau Rouge full Grand Prix distance. Let's take a look at how they would attack it, though, because if we look at this green arrow, it's as straight as possible. And for a racing driver, when you're tackling a corner, you always want to try and make sure you're being as straight as possible going through a corner. If we look at Max Verstappen's hands here as he's turning in, just a slight little turn in as he goes up to the hill. At this point, all he sees is blue sky. That's it, until he gets a glimpse of the red and yellow curbing, just brings the car over just a little bit, and again, straightens the steering wheel. Just remember, in a race car, the straighter the steering wheel, the faster you're gonna go. You can also pass in Eau Rouge as well. This one in particular always gets to me. Mark Webber versus Fernando Alonso, and every time I see the two of them going through this particular turn, I always have to turn away because you know what? I always think they're gonna crash, but somehow they make it through every single time. But again, taking another look at this, the big thing about passing in Eau Rouge is that both drivers have to have respect for one another, and that's the only way you can pull one off. Let's fast forward to another part of this track that really excites me. Pouhon, turns 10 and 11. This is a big commitment portion of this racetrack. This is where we're going to see drivers and how confident they are in the cars and in themselves. Let's jump on board with Max Verstappen as he tries to tackle Pouhon. Pay attention to the left-hand side of your screen, the throttle trace there. You can see his right foot starting to come off the gas as his left foot is applying the brake. This is a confidence thing at this point. Max really not too sure if the car is going to stick. His field of vision, he's looking at the exit, and he starts to squeeze the throttle pedal back on so he'll get back to full power heading through this entire turn. Now, if we compare that to Lewis Hamilton's 2020 pole-winning lap, this is the fastest lap by an F1 car on this track. Let's have a listen. Absolutely flat out through that portion of the track. Absolutely incredible from Lewis Hamilton. But again, with this generation of car compared to the cars we have now, it's a little different. These ones had a ton of downforce compared to what we've got now. But that being said, drivers tackling Eau Rouge, drivers tackling Pouhon in particular, if they're able to go flat out through that section, I mean, it could improve their chances of getting pole position or not. Because remember, this is the tightest field in Formula One history that I think we have ever seen. And so milliseconds are going to matter between getting that pole position or finishing outside the top 5.